This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to start our March meeting, and the first thing is, well, you're taking minutes for today. So we're missing Mary, of course, because you're taking over for today. And then Nancy, I believe our new member.
Person, okay.
What did I just do? Did I just reject Stan?
So I can message him, it's okay.
Okay. Oh, no, there he is.
You didn't reject him, he's here.
Hi, Stan.
Hi.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Because we can't hear him. Yes. So the first thing we're going to do, I was going to have Nancy introduce herself because she came to our last meeting, but now she's officially a member, but she's not here yet. So we're gonna go with our speaker. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name's Dane, like Great Dane, and I work for Community Action Pioneer Valley. And what we do is we help people be able to afford the things they need in order to live. We help them stay in their homes. We help them get food. We help them stay warm in the winter, and we help them get and keep jobs. So what you're going to see today and what you're going to hear today is how we do all those things. So community action started over 50 years ago in 1964, and there are many community actions all over the country. And the number one thing that we're called is an anti-poverty agency to keep people out of poverty. And like I said, our priorities are keeping people housed, fed, warm, working, and connected with one another. We have services available for people of all ages. And one of the biggest things we do is we look around and we see what problems exist, and we think about how to fix them in our community. And the federal government and our state governments, they trust us to identify and address those problems. So when we say, hey, hunger is a big problem in our community, they basically say, okay, we believe you. We believe that you've done your homework, you've talked to people who are really experiencing this problem, and we trust you to get the job done. We also work with local organizations and city governments, and the work that we do helps us have that good reputation with the government, helps us figure out exactly what people really need and what we can do for them. We also write reports that talk about the big issues in our towns, and those reports we give to other organizations who use that information to help get their own money to solve their own issues. So if another organization wants to make the case that hunger is a big problem, they can give whoever they're asking for money our report and say, hey, community action says that hunger is a big problem, and you know you can trust them. So we play that role as a group that different people can trust. So who do we serve and what do we do? The yellow boxes up top tells you who we work with. We work with children, families, youth and young adults, seniors, and the bigger community at large. And you all count as the bigger community at large. And what do we do is the green boxes. We deal with food, funds or money, fuel or heating, family support, and child development. We're going to look at what that all looks like. And way down at the bottom, you can, oops, I'm going to get rid of that bar there. You can maybe see where it says housed, fed, warm, working, connected. So if you get confused at all, right, just keep looking for that note at the bottom. Housed, fed, warm, working, connected. If it comes back to one of those things, we probably have something to help. So let's start with child development and children in their earliest years. What do we do? Well, we run Head Start, which is the biggest preschool program in the country. Preschools all the way from Orange down to Agawam and everywhere in between. We also have home visitors who work for Head Start, who are like preschool teachers who come to your house and work with you and your kids. And you might look at that and you might think, hey, Dane, you said housed, fed, warm, working, connected. Where does preschool come into that? Why does that matter? Well, the answer is because we know that when we have high quality childcare available, parents can work. And so one of the biggest reasons that Head Start is a success is because it allows parents to keep working and support their families. And so that is a big part of what we do. The other piece it solves, or the other piece that it works on, is being connected. We run groups for parents of young children to keep them connected to one another. If you have a child in Head Start, you may be invited to join a parent committee because parents have a big say in how we run our preschools and our programs and what we do for kids and families. Does anybody have questions about Head Start? All right.
How does that work?
How does it work?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. How does what work?
Oh, God.
Okay.
It's a preschool.
It's a preschool.
Oh,
Well, yeah, you can send your kids there, or you can have home visits where somebody comes to your house and visits you. Yeah.
I have my nephew, my niece, my nephew's daughter, Laura, he goes to preschool, and my other nephew, my niece goes to preschool, and my other one goes to preschool too.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Having good preschools is really important for kids and parents.
Yeah, just a reminder to everybody, try to keep your questions applicable to things that would be applicable to everyone. Yeah.
All right. So outside of preschool and outside of Head Start, we also offer support to families with young kids. The biggest place we do that is our family center, which is up in Greenfield. Up in Greenfield, the family center offers groups for parents to come in and support each other. We also have things like a clothing closet for people who need professional clothes for interviews or events that they can come and take for free as they need. We also offer activities and games for kids who are a little bit older than preschool ages. We also have other home visiting programs, right? I mentioned Head Start home visitors, where preschool teachers come and visit your family. We also have what's called Healthy Families, and those are special visits for young parents who are under 24 years old. So if you are a young parent having your very first child and maybe you are a little overwhelmed or nervous about it, right? Our Healthy Families visitors will come talk to you about what to expect, help you get what you need. And the Young Parent Program, which sounds a little bit like Healthy Families, like, didn't we just talk about young parents? Yeah, well, it's a little bit different. The Young Parent Program is about you, the parent, right? So it's about your goals. What education goals do you have? What kind of job do you want to get? A Young Parent Program worker will help the parent pursue their goals, and a Healthy Families home visitor will help support all the family, including the children. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So then what happens as kids grow up? Well, we have youth and young adult programs. And this basically comes in 3 different forms. We offer support groups. We offer jobs and work training for young people, and opportunities to develop their leadership skills. So one of the ways that we do that is we actually have a youth council that works with community action. And it's made up of young people who are all under 18, or I think under 22. And they look at the programs that we are offering, and they help figure out where we might be missing some stuff or where we might need to change things. And they bring that to us, and they have a voice in how we run our agency. So that helps young people, builds them up, gives them confidence, and also skills as they enter the workforce. We also help find them internships and jobs and help them apply for jobs. And we also offer different support groups that meet once a week, many of them, or sometimes twice a month, where young people can come in and hang out with other young folks and have a good time playing games, eating snacks, watching movies, doing cool stuff like that.
Or play bingo.
Or play bingo. They could. I don't know that we have a bingo set. That's a good idea.
Never know, anyway.
Yeah. And down there at the bottom, you see it still says housed, fed, warm, working, connected. So our youth and young adult programs are all about being connected to each other and the community, and also about working. And what happens when everybody grows up? We have our senior programs. There are 3 major senior programs that we have. One is an exercise program, and that helps seniors focus on functional strength and healthy living. And you might be saying, Dane, housed, fed, warm, working, connected. What does an exercise class have to do with that? Does anybody want to guess?
Connected.
Connected is a big one, but it's got one other really important thing. I think I heard somebody say something about it.
And staying at home.
Yes, health and staying at home. We find that people who take our exercise classes don't fall as much. And falls are one of the biggest reasons that people can't stay in their homes as they get older. So if they're stronger and have better balance from our classes, then they're actually able to age in their homes and stay housed. RSVP stands for the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. That's a big way we help seniors stay connected with the community, especially for folks who are retired and not working anymore and maybe looking for a place to bring their skills and their talents. We help connect them with organizations that need their help. And then finally, this big green box here on the left talks about the Older Adult Home Modification Program. And basically what that means is if you need some help in order to stay in your house, if your house needs a ramp or some rails or a shower that is safer for you, we have some money that can allow us to go in and actually build those things for you so that you can stay in your home if that's what's keeping you unsafe. So that's another way that we help keep people housed.
Yep.
Anybody else have questions about this?
Did you talk about the income qualifications? Only certain incomes, correct?
Yes. So most of our programs have income qualifications. Healthy Bones and Balance doesn't. RSVP does not. But most of our programs require you to meet different income levels in order to qualify. And they are all different, just to be super fun about it. I wish I could say, here's a number. If you meet that, then you qualify for this, that, or the other. And I mean it when I say every single program has a different number. But there are ways to find out what you qualify for, and I will get to those. All right, so we've talked about groups of people, right? We've talked about young kids and young adults and seniors. Now let's talk about services and what we actually do. So the first big one is food. We're very, very good at food. If you need food today, we can get you food today. That is one of the things we are strongest at. We help people apply for SNAP or food stamps. We run the region's WIC program, which is for women with young children or parents with young children under 5. We also run 2 food pantries up in Greenfield and in Shelburne Falls. So we have lots of ways of helping people make sure that they have enough food. And that is true for people of all ages, right? WIC is for young children under 5 or pregnant parents. SNAP help is for anybody of any age, and same with our food pantries. And then we get into money, right? Like one of the best ways to keep people housed and to keep people warm is to make sure they have money to pay for stuff. So we have several programs that are all about money. The biggest one is our free tax help program, or one of our biggest ones is our free tax help program. And that is going on right now. We will do your income taxes for free and make sure that all of the money you deserve comes back to you. No fees, no charges, nada. It's run by volunteers. I'm actually a volunteer with the free tax program. And I do it after work and I love it. It's really fun to tell people, hey, how would you like $2,000 today or in 2 weeks? And that's one of the really fun parts of the job. So our free tax program returned over $1 million into our community last year by helping people make sure that they got the biggest refunds they could and making sure it all went right back to them. When we're not in tax season, which is outside of January to April. So from May to December, we will do budgeting and financial help one-on-one for people who want it. We also offer help with rent, utility, and what's called fuel assistance. Rent and utility help is for people who are in danger of losing something. If you get a notice of eviction, for example, we can help pay any missed rent that is causing you to be evicted and help keep you in your home. If you get threatened with a shut-off, a utility notice that says we're going to shut off your electric if you don't pay up, right? We can help cover up some of those back bills and keep your heat or your lights on. Fuel assistance is one of our biggest programs. We keep, I want to say the number's around 17,000 people warm every year just by helping to pay their heating bills. And that's going on right now. Yeah.
So for rental assistance, so you would only help, would you help with non-income based evictions, or is it just, or is it just cash assistance to prevent income based evictions?
That is a really good question. And the answer is money. We help with money. If it's a conflict between the landlord and the tenant, or there's some other issue
Do you
going
have
on.
any resources to steer people towards agencies that would help?
Limited, but yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So if somebody came to us and said, the problem isn't that I can't pay my rent, the problem is that my landlord has problems with me or doesn't want me here anymore, we would refer to other organizations that do mediation.
Okay,
or can offer those services. Yeah.
That's good. So if someone said, you could say, try them, they would know who to talk to. That's great.
Yeah, and that's a big part of what our job is not just to do what we do, but also to know what's out there and to help people get what they need. All right, so fuel is all about keeping people warm, right? So for fuel assistance, really simple. We pay people's heating bills. Done. End of story.
And got oil, gas,
Propane.
warm,
We even pay for wood.
pay for wood.
If you heat your house with a wood stove, we will buy you a couple cords of wood. Yeah.
Yeah, buy two.
Yeah. And then after we pay your heating bills, you can get into our weatherization program. Weatherization, what does that mean? It means we will help do things that will make your house easier and cheaper to stay warm. So we can help pay for insulation. We can help you get appliances or a new furnace that uses less energy. And that means your costs go down, which means our costs go down, and you stay warmer. So fuel assistance is the short term. Weatherization attacks a long-term problem. It says, how do we make your house safer, tighter, easier to stay warm in? All right, so we've got housed, fed, and warm. Now we're talking about work. And we talked a little bit about work, right? Because we have all of those leadership and internship opportunities for young people. And we have those volunteer opportunities for our seniors. And of course, we have our Head Start centers, which allow parents to go to work when their kids have high quality childcare.
Yeah.
So all of those come together and help keep people at work. And then there's the last part, community, and that's what I do. Community collaborations, which is my job, means that I get to go out and I get to talk to everybody else about what community action does, and I get to spread the word about our services and what we do. I also get to show up and represent community action anytime that a group forms to attack a certain problem, right? So let's say somebody says, we want to create a group to end hunger in our town. Community action might send me to go show up and say, hey, this is how we can help you end hunger in your town. You can send people to us. We'll help them get food. We also, like I was saying before, we write reports. We actually write a very big report every 3 years that talks about all the problems that people are facing. And we let other organizations use that report to help show what the local problems are and help get money to fix them. So, community resources and advocacy. This is what I call our front door And it's our front door because it's a number that anybody can call and talk to someone called a resource advocate. A resource advocate is like a human encyclopedia who knows everything there is to offer around here. So for example, when we don't offer a service like mediation with landlords and tenants, our resource advocates are the ones who know what is available in the area and can connect you with the people you need to get in touch with. They also will help people with some applications. For example, SNAP is a big one. So if you don't have SNAP or food stamps, a resource advocate will have you come into the office and you'll sit down and apply for that together.
Mhm.
And then lastly is the 3-county continuum of care. And this one sort of gets to be off in its own little world. And the 3-county continuum of care, well, they have a really simple, basic job. They have to end homelessness. That's it. That's their whole job. Figure out a way to end homelessness. They work with the federal government to bring money to our area,
Yeah.
to give to programs and agencies that are working to get people housing.
Yeah.
Their work is really slow. Their work is really hard, and they do it really well.
Mhm.
And they work with us because it's part of our goal of keeping everybody housed, fed, warm, working, connected.
And people are fed too.
Yeah, we keep people fed.
Yeah.
So that's us. You can ignore that lookforhelp.org website. I need to actually get rid of that. That is no longer existent. But that phone number and that web address are good. And that is community action and what we offer. Who's got questions?
Nope, not bad.
All right.
What is the best, if we have a person or a family in the community that is applying for services, but maybe having difficulty with the follow-up, what's the best number to route them to for fuel assistance?
Ooh, that's a really,
Or a person that they should be, I don't know, if I'm mentioning that specific people for different things.
well, I'm going to say me actually.
Okay.
Because I'm going to say that one of the perks you get of coming to this meeting is that you get to be in touch with me.
Okay.
I know every program in the agency, and I have shortcuts to get to everyone in the agency.
Great.
And part of my work as ambassador is helping to fix problems quicker. So I'm going to encourage you, if you've got a family that is in need of some assistance, to reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do to make sure that family's needs are met.
What is your email address?
Good question. It is not on this slide, and it should be. It is DKUTTLER, D Cutler, at Community Action, COMMUNITYACTION.US, communityaction.us.
Awesome. Thank you.
And my name is Dane, D-A-N-E.
And is it Dane Cutler?
It is, in fact, Dane Cutler. And so you can always email me, and I will do my best to respond same day, get back to you. I will be honest with you when there's something I can't do, and I will be as fast as I can. Right now, a big thing that's happening is people are coming to me because they applied for fuel assistance 5 months ago and they haven't heard back. And that is so real, painfully real. True story. In a normal year, we get about 7,000 applications for fuel assistance. And we have 8 people whose job it is to answer those.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we got 8,000 applications for fuel assistance. And we're down to a team of 5.
Ooh. Because they're only a little busy.
Just a little. And the longer the season goes on, the more people get themselves into emergency situations. And when somebody is in an emergency, like my gas is about to get shut off, or I'm out of oil and my house is cold today, we're supposed to drop everything and fix that.
Yep.
Which is great. I mean, it's super important. I'm really glad we have
But
that
I still
system.
got hot water in my home, but
Everybody got
That's
hot water in their home.
Yeah. But if your heat is out,
everybody, yeah.
your hot
heat's
water
out.
might be in trouble too, right? So we want to make sure that everybody stays warm. So what's happening is we're getting so many emergency applications because we didn't get to people's applications in time, and it's all snowballing into a big ugly thing. But when people come to me, I have been able to help them get stuff fixed and dealt with a little bit faster. And also just being able to be a person on the inside who actually talks to you, I'm happy to be that person whenever I can. The other thing too that I will suggest is that it is always okay if you're working with a family or with somebody who may have challenges with communication or following through. It is always okay to call with them.
But if I call my sister, I can call my sister.
Yeah. You can call your sister, and if your sister can help you call us, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're allowed, if you call with somebody and you're like on the phone, we take that as consent. And we will talk to you and give you all the information that you need in order to help them. And if you call by yourself on behalf of somebody else, we will ask the other person to sign an agreement just to say, hey, it's okay for you to talk to this person. But if you call together, we don't need anything signed.
Are there any other questions? If not, we have to go. You go. Go ahead.
You mentioned that there was some really regional specific stuff that you do. Can you give an example of something regional specific that's, maybe that I wouldn't think of your organization doing for?
So I run a group up in Franklin County called the Franklin County Resource Network. And it's full of people like me who represent their agencies and their organizations. And it's also full of people who work on the front lines who come in twice a month to sit around and update each other on what is going on in their agencies and organizations. We use that meeting to make really important connections and to fill each other in on stuff we might not otherwise know is going on, or stuff that might get lost in, floods of email. There is a similar group here in Hampshire County, but I don't run it. I just attend it, and I go to it to find out what's going on, hear presentations kind of like this one from other groups. But those coalitions exist to make sure that people don't fall through the cracks and that everybody knows what's available and what's going on. So that's an example of a kind of regional thing that I work on.
Thank you.
If I don't fall, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming.
Of course.
If you guys have questions, you're gonna have to contact her separately because we have to do the rest of our meeting, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you all
Do I
so
have
much.
your card for that?
I wish I had cards, but I don't. It's been so long since I've been, this is my first in-person meeting in probably 6 months. We've been like very much on Zoom. So I'm so grateful to you all for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much for having me.
So we're gonna jump around on the agenda because Mike's here. So he wanted to come to see what the PTSD panel was about, right?
So, and that's for a couple of different reasons. Really, I'd like to understand like how you plan to run this event. Because there's definitely a lot of potential risk involved in something like that. Really just, I'd like an understanding of like what the plan is for the event.
So, yeah, I can go over it again, but we should probably talk privately. So I actually did this years ago. I put it together. It just didn't end up happening. So I had speakers who had various forms of PTSD because everybody thinks that PTSD is just veterans, right? So the whole point is to remove the stigma and talk about it. So there would be like somebody who has PTSD, but not just somebody, like they need to be vetted that they've healed and there's been a lot of time from whatever, and then there would be the equivalent person that might help them. So if I did have a veteran, I would have somebody from the VA that treats, so that there would be an immediate resource.
Yeah, so that's my number one concern. So what are the immediate, if you open the box, what's the steps to close it before that individual leaves this event, or someone who is there participating as someone who's viewing it? If whatever this panel member is saying, when they're, whatever, with their trauma, how does that affect
That's
people
big
who
to work.
are observing, and what are those steps? Because my
Is it
fear is, and
working?
I've done a lot of this work in the veteran community, that's my niche. But you're absolutely right. Trauma is trauma across every spectrum of it. And what do we do, or how do we address and make sure that people don't leave that event to something catastrophic because they haven't put those things away properly? So that's my fear with this event. and my number one concern, I did speak with the mayor yesterday just to make my concerns known. Like, I'm all for PTSD resource programs, fairs, things like that, but to openly discuss trauma is tricky. And there's so much liability involved in it that I just want to make sure that we have all those T's crossed and I's dotted before we open that door. That's my concern with it, and that's why I'm here today.
Right.
Is that gonna happen here? Or is it gonna be in a community?
No, it'll be upstairs.
Okay.
So.
Do we have a date?
No, we haven't even started doing anything on it.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
probably 6 months away, or depends. We only have one meeting a month, so could be a year away.
Yeah, so that was just my concern. I wanted to, get an understanding of what you guys were looking at exactly doing.
Yeah.
For, like I said, the fear of what can come from something like that in a not controlled environment is extremely.
Right. So do you have ideas for buttoning it up? Because to me, people are living with PTSD and they get triggered all
Oh,
the time.
absolutely.
Right. So
Absolutely. And so the tricky part is having people express their trauma in an open environment. For me, when I do things like this,
Mhm.
I line up the resources for people and I bring people together, but we don't host, which I understand the value of, like an open sharing, because for me, if I deal with a veteran with MST, right, that's super triggering for me.
Right.
So not that I don't want to help those people, but I put them in the hands of someone who can safely handle it.
Right.
And so that's my fear. It's if we can't control who comes to the event, right?
Right.
And so if it is someone a sexual trauma victim who's on the panel, who shares their experience, and that experience lights a fire in all these other people who are there with that same trauma.
Right.
What's our catch for those people before we let them leave that room?
Right. Yeah. So the coinciding mental health provider.
Exactly. That's just to make sure that if this event does happen, that those safeties are in place to ensure that, we're not doing more harm than good.
Right.
Believe me, a huge advocate for mental health wellness and getting people to the services that they need, but doing it as safely as possible. That's just, so that's why I'm here.
Right. How did you find out about it? Because every time I've mentioned it, I have said that there would be the coinciding person. So I don't know where your fear stemmed from.
I just want to know who those people are. From each different demographic, who are the veteran representatives that are coming in, and are they, that's my concern. So this is the first time I've ever actually, and I appreciate that you had sent me an email, but I wasn't running two communities. I probably would have responded to you then. So it's really just understanding who those people are for my demographic of people.
Okay.
So
because so we're going to include veterans, but this is actually more for people that are not veteran.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But mental health is mental, they always say trauma is trauma. So I'm not looking specific at the veteran side of things, but that's just my concern.
Okay.
How do we ensure that all of these different agencies and issues could be addressed? I did a 9/11 remembrance ceremony in South Hadley, the 20th anniversary. And I know that for some, my generation of veteran, that's a huge event that sparked our entire, 20-year war in the Middle East. So I made sure that there were mental health professionals. So that's just my, my concern. And I wanted to make sure that.
So you want to help with it?
Well, not if it's 6
included?
months away, because I am leaving Easthampton sooner than later. But I would love to connect whoever replaces me to that, to ensure that, they're part of that.
But I think, and to your point, if you have someone on the panel who is a veteran, or you have participants who are coming who are a veteran, it would make sense for someone in your role or the VA or someone to participate in that way. If you had mental health providers in mind that you're going to invite, that's,
So when I tried to run it the first time, this wasn't a pitfall. It actually got canceled because somebody that doesn't know about mental health got irritated about it. So but so for instance, I have to interview these speakers, and if they're not healed enough, we can't do that because they can't be no offense, but vomiting an unhealed story and going right. So there was one person, I'm gonna have somebody that's transgender come and talk and write an equal person, and one of the people that really wanted to do it, right, because people are eager. They're oh my God, I have pain, I want to share it, right? But when I'm talking to them, and that's gonna be hard for me if
Yeah.
I have to reject people, but like they're not healed. So like they're only gonna have 5 minutes to talk about it, right? So like somebody might be 3 minutes into their trauma, like 5 hours later, right? So yeah, it's gonna be like a tough
exactly.
thing.
I think it is a very hard event to put together.
It's gonna be.
But-
Yep.
Again, I agree that there needs to be a healing process. I'm hoping
You're
that,
concerned about the damage end of things if you have somebody who leaves that didn't get proper support.
Yes,
while we're
absolutely.
there.
Yep. Right.
and so that.
Yeah,
so
I
that's
would
just-
never do that. I would never just have people just come and like tell, and then people in the audience are like, "Wow, my emotions," and
Yeah.
then let them out in the street.
All right, Chief Alberti, this
Right?
is your problem now.
Right. Exactly. No,
So
I
yeah,
would
that's my
never do
concern.
that.
I hope that whoever replaces me will be as involved in the community side of the work that I am,
Yeah.
and that they can be part of this. But yeah, so I just wanted to come and see and have like a better understanding of what you guys are looking at.
Sure.
So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we didn't really start it yet. We have to do like a subcommittee because our meetings are only once a month in
Yeah.
1 hour. So we always have to have these subcommittees to like work on things. That's why I was asking if you wanted to be on this.
Yeah, I wish I
Got
could.
it. It's
but
okay.
Leave
It's
it.
okay. My feelings aren't hurt.
I'm abandoning you guys.
Oh,
No.
I'm so glad you came though.
Slater, Slater, and I'm the Director of Veteran Services.
Oh, great.
But thank you so much for answering those questions.
Of
I greatly
course.
appreciate it. I appreciate the work you guys are doing. I do have to run because I have another meeting.
I figured that's why we skipped
So
right
thank
to
you for
it.
that. I appreciate it. But if you guys need anything, resources I can send your direction, please let me know. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
What time is it? Okay. So we're just gonna go through we're gonna do some updates on all our little subcommittees we've had going on. So do you want to mention 2 little items, I don't know, about the meeting yesterday, the survey subcommittee meetings?
Sure. So, yeah, so the survey subcommittee has been working on 2 things. One of them is preparing for a second survey. And so we've done a little bit of that. We've kind of gone through the questions from the original survey and kind of talked about what we would change. And then the other thing is preparing to give a presentation to the city council on the original survey. And we got some major help from Paul St. Pierre that kind of got us on track, and we decided that really the most kind of solid information we got out of the survey was on transportation. So the presentation would focus on that. I kind of made a draft outline that I need to get feedback from everyone else on. And so I feel like it's coming slowly, but we're definitely making progress, and we're on track for that, to give that presentation.
Questions? No? Okay. So the accessibility ordinance subcommittee,
Oh, and I should mention that the subcommittee is me, Angelique, Stan, and Molly.
yes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the accessibility ordinance, that's the ordinance that we were trying to create, that it would make people have to say that what types of accommodations their building has or their event has, and a contact name and number would have to be published for people to be able to call and ask about their personal accommodations that they need. So that has been sent to Omar, and he's supposed to talk to Salem Derby, and haven't heard back. So I'll have something to report next meeting, hopefully. Do you guys have questions about that? Yeah.
Where would it have to be published and in what context? Like,
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. So I'm just learning how to do an ordinance.
okay,
So like I had to write some language and submit it. and then they're looking it over. So we're probably gonna go back and forth 300 times, I
Are they
imagine.
designated it on Google, or are they designated it on like website,
Right.
assuming it's not a big sign on the door.
Right, so originally it was like about events, and so if they were making a Facebook event or like a flyer, like it would have to say,
Okay.
and if there's no room to put accommodations, like they're gonna have to put somebody that you can get a hold of, because that's, right, and there's so many different accommodations that like, there's no way to like list them all, because there's so many disabilities, so.
What types of venues would this ordinance cover?
It's city stuff, so like we can't make anybody else do it, but
Okay.
it would, I'm sure gonna try to make everybody else do it, Winky.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna come down with my mallet.
Yeah.
I would assume, I mean,
rocks.
that it would be, you don't publish in a particular place, you publish it wherever you publish your other promotional stuff. That would be my assumption. That would be, I would think, the most logical way to do it.
Right, so if they have a website, it would have to be.
Yeah.
Right, or flyer.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we're just in the baby beginning stages, so we haven't been given a lot of guidance. He just asked for language, and I was like, language, uh-oh. I don't know how good I am at writing an ordinance.
Yeah, but all these things can change, because it will go to the ordinance subcommittee of the city council, and, they will do whatever they want to do with it. I mean, hopefully someone from our commission would be there to help, but yeah, that's the process.
Stan, do you want to chime in on anything? Oh, nope, can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Stan.
You're muted.
That better?
It
Is
says
that better?
up top.
Okay.
Right. But
I just saw that Dan Rist is planning to.
Google sees the Stan's voice, but we can't hear Stan's voice.
But I'm not muted anymore.
This has happened before with his computer many times.
Now I'm not. Okay, I'll have to contact you guys offline then.
There's no way for us to unmute him?
Well, he is unmuted.
Oh.
This is showing that he's
Oh, I
unmuted.
see. Okay, sorry.
And when he talks, you can see the bars move.
You can see what he's.
Maybe he
saying
needs
up on
to
the
sign out and
computer.
sign back in.
You want me to sign out and back in?
Yeah, there's a couple buttons on the speaker. Well, the one you press, and there's another one.
Speaker's working, but it's not, the sound's not coming through.
No, that wouldn't touch it. Okay.
Should I go get Andy?
Sure.
All right.
Hold tight, Stan.
Okay.
We'll help you, don't worry. Damn, right?
So I'll talk about the dance event that we're doing this weekend.
Who's on that subcommittee? So was it you, Stan, and Eli?
It's on the accessibility ordinance, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so the dance this weekend, the dance event, it's happening on Saturday from 11 to 1. And it's a dance event where you are required to wear the, all the masks that you have. Because people have been afraid to come out to dance because they're immunocompromised. And so people have asked me to do this event. And so I'm doing it. Doesn't mean these people are going to come, but we'll see. So the mayor is supposed to be putting out like a press release, and Eli is going to come help me set up the tables and chairs. And if anybody does come, you're going to help with the front desk. I'm going to be teaching a dance lesson, and then there'll be fun dance time afterwards. And there'll be snacks. The mayor really wants to offer refreshments of some kind, because who doesn't want snacks?
You, right?
I love my snacks. So that'll be tricky because, people don't want the mask to come off, so we'll figure that out. Like, people have to stay in their corners if they're snacking.
Sorry, Stan, can you say something?
Yes, I can.
There you
I
go.
can hear you.
What did we do wrong?
Just the speaker, had to change it.
Oh,
He's just the expert. He just knows.
Got it.
how to handle issues. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Stan, what were you gonna say?
So I noticed in terms of the ordinances, I noticed that Dan Rist is planning to retire from the city council after all these years at the end of this term. And I was speaking to his daughter this week, and she thought he might be interested in possibly joining our group when he does retire. But also she told me that he actually writes the language for almost all of the ordinances. And even now, he might be willing to help out with what you want to write as an ordinance, help you, say it properly and use the right words, etc., and get it published.
Okay, I did reach out to him about becoming a member, but I haven't heard back from him yet, but I can reach out to him about the language.
Is there a municipality somewhere that has an ordinance like the one you want to make?
Good question, thank you. I should look into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because plagiarism is okay sometimes.
It's flattery.
Borrowing previously established
Yeah.
ideas.
I made a note to resend we did the transition plan.
Mhm.
So that's the city's guide to address accessibility issues
Okay,
in all city facilities.
okay,
I believe there's something in there about reasonable accommodations.
okay.
And I think it was just identifying that there's a lack of transparency about how that should work. But I also think there's a couple recommendations in there.
Okay,
So I will get that to you. I think that could be, so usually what will help city council deal with this is knowing that it's identified in a plan somewhere.
Oh,
as an
that's
act-
true.
Something that we did the transition plan. We worked on that for like a year with the consultant team. They make recommendations and that's one of them. So
Okay.
that's usually helpful to tell city council that you're doing something that's identified in a plan.
that makes sense.
Okay, I'll send that
Thank
stuff
you.
to you.
While you're doing this ordinance, is there something that you could, you were saying it would pertain to city events only, and I was thinking, because there's probably some sort of permitting process for private organizations to host larger events, and could we attach something similar to, events of a certain size that would need, or venues that typically host events, like, it would probably be doable and within our purview.
Right.
Just for larger venues, like, bars.
That's why we keep you
clubs.
around. Go team.
Because I think.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I'm very good at non sequitur ideas and I have no follow through. That's like,
That's okay.
Well, especially if it's a private event at a city-owned venue, that should certainly be possible.
Right.
wouldn't even need to be, it could be the Marigold Theater or something.
Sheldon has a question.
Dan.
Yes, when I was working with the guys and girls on the snow ordinance, I actually found ADA literature in the ADA law that specifically talks about street clearing and road clearing as ADA issues. And we may be able to find similar items regarding, event accommodations.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense. I love it. So can you send it to me?
Well, I haven't looked in terms of event accommodations yet, but I'll be happy to go look like I did with I shared the ADA requirements for snow with the other people working on that ordinance.
Right.
And I think I shared it with you as well at the time.
You did, I remember
Okay,
now.
I will do some research in the ADA regulations regarding events.
Okay. Do you guys have questions about the dance event? No.
Only question, one
Yeah.
question. Do you still
Yeah.
want the masks I have for you?
Sure. I can pick them up.
Let me know when you want to come. I have a shopping bag full. I'll leave them on my porch.
Okay.
We also have available
Thank you.
masks in the health department if you feel like you have a shortage.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Let's see. So, every month we've been trying to have the chairs of all the other committees meet. So Eli and we send out a poll so we can start to get to know the chairs from all the other committees. So we've had a couple meetings, but one didn't happen this month. So hopefully one will happen next month, because we'd like to start working together with everybody. So they know we're here too. So they invite us to stuff and tell us things.
The city committee?
Mm-hmm, all the city committees, yes. Yep. Let's see, what else? Snow,
Never mind.
the snow removal ordinance. I don't think we have an update on that, right?
Yeah, so we were not able to have a meeting this month. And we should probably clarify, it's not, I don't think we have an ordinance in mind. It's just a kind of discussion about what we should do about snow clearing policy. I think it's pretty vague at this.
The last one we had was with Liz and the Officer Alexander, right, or detective? What is it? Is it Detective Alexander?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so, yeah, we'll have to schedule another one.
yeah. And, and also, can we get a sense of who wants to be part of that discussion?
So
Just to make it easier to schedule.
I'm really passionate about that kind of stuff, but I also find myself having a hard time making
Yeah.
meetings outside.
That's okay. We can still send you the info, and if you can come, you can.
I'm interested in being looped in on the info. I've been thinking about drafting up a list of like, if I was to make priorities, this is what said priorities would be. But just sending that, or I know it can't be like a open discussion on email based on our bylaws, but
Right.
just for you to bounce around and whatever language I can come up with that you can find yourself being able to use in the discussion.
We took a bunch of pictures.
I did.
Totally.
I
I was
did.
like, somebody take some pictures, and you were on
Well,
it.
yeah, I mean, it's just, well, yeah, it was just, I mean, part of it is people shovel, like, Sacred Heart School at Franklin Street, totally cleared the sidewalk, did not sand, it was a sheet of ice. And, moving down Davis Street, mostly okay, but then, going on to, Adams Street down the hill, whoever owns that abandoned property, it might even be city property, sidewalk was totally not cleared. And then the inlet to where the Liberty Street entrance to Riverside parking lot, someone had shoveled, but then DPW or whoever the plow was had dumped snow all over the inlet to the sidewalk, then moving along, and then there was more stuff like going on, I think, railroads. It was one of these main sidewalks. I think it was Railroad Street or whatever. There's just the clearing from the sidewalk to the street was just snow dumped all over it. Part of it is homeowners, but really DPW is effing up and has no responsibility.
No
Sacred
Heart, they're trying to drum up business because they want you to pray to God for your life while you're falling.
Well,
Yep, that's
it's
what
a
happened.
school.
I know, I went there in first
Yeah.
grade.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, they must need to drum up business.
that's what it is. They said, oh, not
Ain't
enough.
nothing happening most of the time.
So I actually saw this man while I was pumping gas at, is it 7-Eleven? This poor man with who could barely walk with his walker, he kept trying to get to the side. He'd go around this way and there was snow, and he'd go around this way. And I didn't know what to do because I wanted to go over there and shovel with my hands or something. I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, this poor guy.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, whatever it is, there needs to be a process for DPW to go back and do it over if they end up, people report it.
Right.
And it needs to be expedient.
Well, we talked about this. I think there are going to be some cases that are really DPW, but if you see something, calling the police was what we talked about.
Yeah.
They are the people who can go to the address.
But
and notify the person.
it's not an address. This is something that the property owner has already done, and a property owner cannot reasonably be expected to clear up if someone has put a mountain of packed snow on the sidewalk that they have already cleared. That is not their fault. That is not reasonable for property owner, and that's not a reasonable expectation.
See, I see it. I agree. I know you're passionate about it. You said that.
Yeah.
But it is. That's when you own a property, your responsibility is to go back out there and clear it out. And that's the 12-hour rule, which I know you guys are going to be talking about, but it's hard and it could be problematic for the person to do that. But that is technically
you can't clear a snowbank. It's an unreasonable expectation.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen. It's gonna kill support for any other kind of policy if we start making that, because,
Right.
that's, just.
Yeah. Well, and that we feel similarly on this, but I think the official rule is that the homeowner is supposed to go back out and clear it, or they're supposed to pre-clear a space for the plow to dump where the plow would dump snow so that it doesn't go in front of the curb cut. There's another option, right?
Anyway, I
think I don't think we can leave the DPW out of this altogether, because I have experienced several times where when the plows.
Yeah, Stan, hold on, Bryce is talking.
Okay, hello.
Easthampton, 15 years.
Not muted.
My cousin used the shovel the driveway.
Yeah.
If they didn't come, I would have to stay home.
Oh, no. All right, what were you saying, Stan?
So I have personally experienced several occasions where I was trying to go to a store after a snowstorm, and the sidewalk was clear, but there was piles of snow from the snowplow when they cleared the street and piled it up against the curb that you couldn't get onto the sidewalk without, slogging through this pile of snow. So I think the DPW has to play a role in this in terms of how they clear the streets.
Yeah.
Maybe we can invite them to the conversation again.
Yeah, and Bryce, I think your anecdote is powerful. People, right? That people are just not going to be able to go to school, right? Unless we fix this,
So we're past our time, but I have, do you guys have because we have one more thing I have to talk about. So the Eli and I had met with the mayor to talk about the dance event, but she brought up something sort of from the past. It's called a primer. It's a booklet that we
we, meaning the COD, many years ago, like 7 years ago or something, printed out, and it's a small business primer, so it has like little accommodations that businesses should do to make sure they're accessible. And so she asked about it, and she wants it, I think now, like in the next week or so, she wants to send it out with some stuff that she's sending to new businesses. And so I don't have a copy of it. I'm trying to get a hold of the old chair, because he would have had a copy of it. And so they would have to be printed out, and I would send it to all of you. Like, one of the people that used to be in the commission sent Eli like the link to what it looks like online, but it's similar, but it's not the same thing. Like, you can't, this needs to be a booklet that gets sent out. And so, that's something new. And did you, can you follow up, and even though she gave the link, can you ask about the actual file? It should be somewhere, the actual file.
Yes, I will follow up.
Whenever Jim answers you.
Right.
Yeah. Do you guys have questions about that?
I have one more question about the, if people walking on the ice, it's very slippery. I mean, they don't sand it down.
Right.
Because there's icing and people will fall. I mean, it's not safe.
That's true.
Very true.
I almost fell once, I was walking on the sidewalk, and I almost fell right on the ice. One time I was going for a walk, and I almost fell on the ice.
That's not safe, you know?
Guys, I fell down 2 different flights of stairs last week.
Wow.
So bad. One was in Springfield. Somebody asked me if it was slippery, and I was like, yes. Hurt so bad, but I landed good. I made sure, you know, like on TikTok, they land good. So I was like, how I look, guys.
Yeah.
Couldn't move, was so bruised. And then in Northampton, I was like, oh, ice. So I went to the other side, held the handrail, whoop, fell down these stone stairs, and I nailed the landing on that one too. So
nice. Did you get up and pretend to shoot a hoop and make
my God, I couldn't even move for days. So much pain. In my old age, I can't be falling downstairs.
Well, I'm more than you, 58.
Maybe, we'll see. I don't know. So before we go, we actually have to approve the minutes. So those that were there last meeting, don't know how to speak anymore. Is there anything that you guys saw that, or can we vote them in?
Yeah. I forgot her name.
Do we have
the speaker? I forgot her name.
Dane.
What is it?
Dane Cutler, and we'll look up.
Oh, well, I know, I'm talking about that. She kind of cut it short, and, you know, she keep on talking like it, you know.
The one from last meeting?
No, the one that here today.
Her name was Dane, yep.
Yeah, and she needs to cut it short, and you know, so we can run the.
Thank you. You're paying attention. So I don't know if you remember, but you said you'd do the timer.
Oh.
But then you were taking notes. So like, yeah.
All right.
So that was a perfect example, because we did, thank you. We did talk about that last meeting, that like, it's hard to cut people off. And I'm very, very clear with them that they have 10 minutes, like no more than 10 minutes. She did 25 minutes.
Yeah, fine.
I felt like a lot of it was really, I don't know, yeah.
So she didn't do what I asked. I asked her to be very specific about stuff, but like in her mind, that's her presentation she does. So like, that's what we got.
I used to do that when I was, I did that in Alta Book. I used to be a friendship fund president.
Yeah.
I used to tell the what do you call it? The
speakers.
The speakers to cut it short. And she keeps
great.
Yakking.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I do this.
I didn't feel like she was yakking, but yes.
You know,
It's hard when they have a PowerPoint.
Right, yeah, so like I was unsure, I was gonna say something, but then I thought she was on the last slide, so I was like, let her go 1 more minute, and so, I guess on my end, I'll try to be even more persuasive.
Give David a timer and a big.
Right, I don't know, you're gonna lose your position, Molly.
Your time is up.
But yeah, we could do.
I do that.
Good, I can't do
It
that.
would be helpful if we
What's
could,
this?
if we could give them feedback about the time, right? So
Right.
like, yeah, you know, 2 more minutes, 1 more minute.
Yeah, I was about to do that every slide and then and then I was like, oh, this is another one.
I just wish in life people with PowerPoints would hand you a copy of their PowerPoint instead of reading it. And I think that would cut a lot of time. And that would just, life would be better and meetings would be shorter.
Yeah,
it would be.
You know.
Dan, you had something?
Giving that suggestion.
I just wanted to add, that I think that the last time we spoke about timing for speakers, we were talking about public speak. And this was today was not a public speak thing. It was someone we invited to tell us about what they do to help our constituents.
We've actually never addressed timing of public speakers
Oh,
before.
okay. Then maybe it was another group. Okay.
Yeah, it was regular speakers.
I
Yeah.
wonder if
Okay.
10 minutes is realistic. I mean, that's short for.
So,
someone.
well, a lot of speakers we've had spoke for 5 minutes and then they were like, I got nothing more to say. So it's like there's no way to tell. So the only thing I can do is tell them how much time we have and like maybe she hasn't timed herself in the past when she's done the presentation or like. A lot of people say I'll reconfigure it. I won't do my normal one I do because it's an hour long or what have you. So like,
You know.
Yeah, it's not easy to do to give a presentation that short, but it is doable.
Yeah. I do think that there's such an overlap between disability and poverty that I don't know. Perhaps she could have been a little less specific in what the child programs were, but I don't know that there was a part she that was like, wow, there's no way any of our,
So for instance, because I went through their thing, so because I'm disabled, I got a free childcare voucher.
Yeah.
Right, so like she didn't say anything about that, and that was like something I specifically asked her to talk about.
Yeah.
So, I'll talk to her later, but, so we have to vote in the minutes before I let you guys go.
Okay.
So everybody's okay with it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody not okay with it?
It's
Okay.
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so the next meeting is April 4th.
April
April
4th.
4th?
Yeah,
Said that,
April 4th.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you know what? Before I want to tell you, April 1st is out of what day is April 1st for, guys? Everybody
I don't know, like a Friday, I think.
I don't know. I'll have to
Get the
mark that calendar.
calendar. Because I don't want you guys to get fooled.
Fool's Day.
Saturday.
All
All right, meeting adjourned.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Somebody
thank you.
is like, it's fooled. Thank you, everyone.
So,
Thank you, John.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.